Every day, in big cities and small towns, all across this country, all across Minnesota, people get up early, they work late, and they do it. They sacrifice because they know they are part of something bigger than themselves. Growing up in Lewiston, Minnesota, I saw my own parents do this. My dad worked in a flour mill and took every extra shift he could to give us a chance at a better life. My mom managed her own daycare and did the same. And their sacrifices are the reason I'm here today. But after seeing the behavior of our politicians, I began to wonder if teachers, police officers, nurses, farmers, and business owners do this every day, why does it have to stop at the doors of Congress? Why can't we have representatives willing to put in the same sacrifice to get things done for us that we do every day? The reality is, I don't think they know what real people are going through. So much of Congress is filled with millionaires and billionaires. I'm proud to say I've been a high school teacher and football coach for 27 years. My wife Ruth and I are raising our 3 children, and we sacrifice to make our family work. It isn't always easy, but we do it. We find a way. The more I see from Congress, the more I wonder, what if Congress was run by people like Ruth and I? People who know what it's like to work hard to make ends meet and sacrifice for others. Would it be any different? What if we took on the big money in politics that's drowning out regular folks' voices? Would we be able to help places and people that get left behind? And what if healthcare, a quality education, including college, and respectful retirement were part of what it meant to be an American? And the more I wondered, I said, what if the congressperson was someone like me? What if together we made this country the place we believe it can be? I'm Jeff Erdmann, and I'm running for Congress because I believe we can. And I hope you'll join me.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to We the People. I'm your host, John Ellis, and that was an incredible ad by Jeff Erdmann. Jeff is running in Minnesota's District 2 against a hardline Republican who's been there not very long, and, well, we'd like to repeal and replace him. We're going to talk to Jeff about that ad because I am impressed. Everybody has been talking about Iron Stash, but I think that ad should go equally as viral. Thank you for coming on the show, Jeff. How are you doing today?
Great. Appreciate the opportunity of being here.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for coming on. Really blown away by that. That's a fantastic ad. We were talking about it earlier, and you've got a great story about it. You want to tell us about that and why you're running for office?
Yeah, when as a public school teacher, I can't really be talking about my campaign. And so when we actually announced and we put the video out in class, because they didn't realize what I was doing until 5th hour. And so when they came into my classroom, they're going bonkers about, oh my gosh, you're running for office. We saw the ad, and all these types of things. So went to a teachable moment. Okay, what kind of propaganda technique was being used? And so, because we had just talked about it like a week or two earlier. And so the kids all started saying, no, just plain folks, just plain folks. And I said, well, why would I use that? Aside, she said, well, because that's who you are. Oh, wow. And that absolutely touched my heart. I thought that was a perfect answer. So I greatly appreciate that.
That's awesome. It is. It's honest, and and I think that's the secret weapon we have against corrupt politicians is hard honesty. It's what the people are looking for today. I appreciate that. And I wanted to let you know right up front that, and to everybody out there, Jeff is a high school teacher and football coach. Any of you know that is just an incredibly difficult thing to balance, both of those things. Just thank you for doing that. I'm just really impressed with your ability to get on that. Are you having issues with the audio, Jeff?
No, much better now. Thanks, John.
Wonderful, wonderful, yeah. Excellent. I'd like to.
John, you could have your microphone closer.
Okay, we'll get on that. Thank you very much. I can see that it's a little quiet there. We'll fix that. Yeah. Just want to tell everybody that we do have Laura Livengood with us, and she will be taking your comments and questions. We are running a short show tonight. We only have about 30 minutes. Jeff is really working the phone calls because he needs to. As a teacher and a football coach, he's got a season coming up, and he's got to get on it. So we're going to have me stop talking, get right to Jeff. We talked about your story, your ad, but why are you running? I mean, looking at the field of what's going on, and you've got this Republican that's going to, the incumbent that's going to run again. He's got a war chest of money already starting to build. And you've got a couple people that have entered the race. One of them ran last time and lost only by a few points. Is going to be the establishment Democrat? What do you see being different about what you're going to do from what the Democratic Party may want to offer?
Well, we'd like to offer a more authentic candidate. What we're about as a person and what I'm about and the message that we're going to send is about being authentic to the values that we think the Democratic Party should represent. As a teacher and a coach, I've had the opportunity to work with people to not just get along, but to actually work together to resolve differences and work out solutions and build winning teams. And I think that's something, those skills and that experience is something that we absolutely need in Washington. You know, my entire professional career has been devoted to the families in my community and helping lift people up. And now I'm ready to extend that service to the voters of CD2 so that they can have a working voice for working people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I appreciate your honesty there, because from what I was reading, in the 2016 race, we're basically just hardline party words. There wasn't a lot of, it was just all words from what I could see was going on. A lot of money being dumped into the race, not a lot of authenticity there from what I could tell. Question on political reform, because obviously that's an issue right now with the amount of money that you're going to have to raise just to compete. Where do you stand on money in politics, and what would you do if elected to change things in our government?
Well, political reform is a huge plank in our platform. That's a very, very important part of it. Citizens United, this ruling was a game changer, opening the floodgates for money to come in and have a negative influence on our elected officials and our policies.
Agreed.
And we need to fight hard to force campaign finance laws that will give the voice back to the American people. Corporate America is drowning out our voices. Profits over people is becoming the normal way of doing business for Congress. And I believe Americans, regardless of their party affiliation, be moved from politics so that we can get back to the merit of the argument, to vote on the merit of the argument, as opposed to how much money goes into, you know, the representatives or the senators' re-election coffers, and for changing our country. A second aspect of political reform is gerrymandering.
Yes.
Gerrymandering is something that I've been very frustrated with, that we haven't seen one of the two political parties embrace it as trying to fix it. And so I believe that competitive elections are good for our country. Drawn to create gerrymandered districts, we get elected officials that know they can win re-election without actually caring about their constituents. And so we need to have lines that are drawn to make them competitive so that position will actually care and listen to their constituents. That's the way it's supposed to be set up.
Okay, so you'd like to reform some of the laws around that, make sure they can't gerrymander districts. And would you be in favor then of publicly funded elections if you could push legislation through?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'd love to have publicly funded elections.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's we do a show in the morning with a couple friends from Germany, and they always talk about how their elections, no matter how many parties they have in the German government, they all get a percentage of the money because it's based on the amount of votes you get. So it's you know. Yeah,
that'd be great. And the other part with that I would love about publicly funded elections is that if you give them a certain amount of money, you've got candidates, they're going to actually have to have common sense approach, you know, fundraising wise, that this is how much money you get to expend so that you don't think that you have ridiculous amounts of money to keep spending and spending and spending.
Exactly. Again, like you said, it needs to be not about the money anymore. It needs to be about the candidate and what they're actually going to do. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we can find out who's going to actually be the best representative to represent the people. And it's not going to be based on how much money they have.
Yes, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Next thing I want to move on and ask you about Medicare for all. Where do you stand on healthcare in general?
Well, thanks for asking about that. Medicare for all is an important concept for us. I believe in investing in our people. You know, for us to reach our potential as a country, we need our people to be healthy so that they can go out and make the greatest contribution that they can to our country as a student, as an employee, as a a parent, a mom, a dad, a grandpa, grandma, as a productive citizen. Those are important things that we need to do. The free market approach doesn't work for healthcare. We need to rise, and we still have more people that are going off the system. It's Medicare for all is cost effective. Okay, we see that the estimates of how much it would cost would be $32 trillion. Cost $49 trillion. Okay, Americans could have a lot of fun with $17 trillion in their pockets. And so, and I'd also like to throw this story in. When I was in my early 20s, we found out that my mom had kidney disease, and she had the medicine was going to cost $5,000 a month. My parents would not be in a position to be able to pay for $5,000 a month.
Wow.
And so luckily, their income fell in the band where they qualified for Medicaid.
Wow.
Come in and help so she could stay alive for 3 years. And she passed away about 3 months before our wedding. But
Wow.
those 3 years were fantastic for us. But there are people that if she would have been a little bit higher on the list, she might not have been able to get that service. And they would have had the conversation of this, we're going to have to go bankrupt or you're going to have to die. And that's a ridiculous conversation to have in a country that is as prosperous as our nation. And so, right now we see that 62% of bankruptcies are attached to medical care costs. And 78% of those 62 actually had health insurance.
Right.
Okay, we have to move towards Medicare for all.
We do. And I haven't heard it. I mean, the arguments are gone. Right now, they seem to be talking about how expensive it's going to be. But in reality, what they're really talking about is it's going to be the death of the healthcare industry gobbling up a ton of profit at our expense. That's really what they're talking about. That's right. That's the concern, is that they're...
Oh, absolutely. The Wall Street Democrats want to stay tied to money. And that's where our side, the progressive side of the party, needs to absolutely step up and not give in and go into that same aspect of trying to manipulate the system for their own benefit. No, that's what we're about.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Good to hear. I just got to, we're going to talk about wealth inequality. You guys sent me a slide I want to look at, actual distribution of wealth in the U.S. We're going to look at that right now. So let's talk about that. Wealth inequality. It's ridiculous at this point. And I was looking at your site on the issues, and I know that you've got a nice listing of where you stand on certain things and how you want to change things. Talk about wealth inequality, and I have a question for you about minimum wage.
Okay.
So what's up with this?
I'm sorry, John, I missed that. I'm getting backlash here on the things that I've said previously are coming through.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have the video running in the background anywhere on your laptop? Yeah, I can hear the video running. It sounds like you might actually have our broadcast going somewhere.
I'm hearing the broadcast from earlier.
Yes. So that is somewhere being played in your... Yes, I can hear it running too. That's somewhere in your office.
It's in an open tab somewhere.
Yes, it is. That is a technical issue, everybody. Give me 1 second, because that's definitely not something we want Jeff to have to deal with for the rest of the show. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, we got that taken care of. Had a little echo going on there, just technical problem. Thank you, Jeff, putting up with that. Got it fixed. We're going to talk about wealth inequality. That was what I was asking Jeff about, and we're going to look at this slide that his team sent us that is just talking about the reality of wealth inequality in the United States of America. This is the slide, Jeff. Do you want to tell me what's going on here with this?
Yeah, it's thanks for bringing this topic up. This is an important topic for our country to realize the significance of wealth inequality that we're facing. The slide shows that 1%, the top 1%, own 40% of our wealth. 80% own 7% of our wealth. And can I use a football analogy here?
Sure.
You better.
So when I look at that as a head coach, football players in my program, and I want to produce the greatest team effort possible, there's no way on earth I'm going to put 40% of our talent and take 80 players and divide up 7% of our talent. That is not going to produce a winning team. That is not going to produce our best effort. Productive balance, we need to lift up and protect the interests of those 80 players that represent working Americans. To do that, that's when we talk about simplifying our tax code, eliminating the tax loopholes, creating Wall Street reform.
Right.
We need to ensure that there's proper regulation to prevent the dangerous from deregulation. But along with that, though, other things that are important as well that maybe don't get as talked about in rural areas.
Okay.
And the inequalities. And so in Congressional District 2, I've lived in outstate Minnesota for 32 years of my life.
Wow.
And so improving the lives of rural Minnesotans is more than a priority for me, as my life has been shaped for the better by living in those communities. And so fighting for family farms, large corporate farms have shown to be harmful to the effects of the rural economies. Our rural communities do better when family farmers are successful. Another part is I will fight for the tax code that's going to look out for the interests of small business. Small businesses are where we have our greatest job growth, and they stay here in our country. A strong voice for small businesses as well.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Can I ask you a question about that? Because that's a touchy subject. I mean, I used to be a small business owner, and and it's tough. I know what it's like, right? And I certainly know what it's like to try to pay somebody a decent wage as a small business owner. Where do you stand on a living wage, knowing that you've got a lot of small business owners that are really trying to make it, and that we have to reform tax code? Do you accept the $15 living wage?
Yeah, I think in Minneapolis just passed that, and I think they did the right thing in their fight for $15. But with that said, the 2nd Congressional District communities, and a hike like that would kill a lot of small business. What I'd like to do is to lift wages up to make sure that people have living wages. No one should work full time. We can do better than that as a country.
All right. So, I mean, and I understand that across the country, what we're saying is there are different places where it's going to cost, where the cost of living is greater or less. And I understand that it's going to affect small business. What did they do there? You were talking about Minneapolis just passing. Do you think they did the right thing? Did they stage it, give businesses time on levels? Is that how they worked it?
Yeah, I'm not sure on the specifics of that, but they did pass it so that is now part of Minneapolis law.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so you agree that we need to increase wages overall for everybody, but we also have to make it so that small business owners aren't going to get killed because of it, right?
Yeah, and John, just to reiterate this, when we talk about Medicare for all,
yes,
small business,
yes,
that's an absolute equalizer for small business because now it allows them to compete for talent, and especially in rural areas where they're struggling because people are moving to the cities to chase jobs
yes,
that offer health insurance. If we have Medicare for all, that issue from the argument for small businesses so they can compete more equally for that talent.
That's a huge point of it. I mean, it's you can't separate a living wage from income inequality from the healthcare debate because it all has to do with where the money's going. right? And that's the key part.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
That's a great. Let's talk about Jason Lewis, because this is the guy ultimately you're probably going to have to run against. I mean, you will be running against. And I just want to hit one point on environment. I got this slide here because I know where you stand on climate. We're going to show everybody that you believe in climate change and sarcasm. This is Jason Lewis. Everybody can see this. So on abortion, Lewis opposes. On environment, he opposes federal regulation of greenhouse gas emissions. In other words, he is with the Lamar Smith camp, everybody. Jason Lewis does not believe that climate change is real, and Lamar Smith thinks it's a good thing for agriculture. And this is where Jason Lewis runs. That's the crowd he hangs with. Where do you stand on the environment and climate change, Jeff Erdmann?
I believe in climate change. Jason Lewis doesn't.
That's very simple.
Yeah, in my class, when we're talking about propaganda techniques,
yes,
I usually use, one of the techniques is called glittering generalities. Say it because everybody agrees with it. I used to use climate change as the example.
Interesting.
Now I can no longer do that because we have a political party that.
Very true. Very true. Laura Livengood, you said you had a question in the audience. We've got time to take it. Let's go.
What is the breakdown of your district? What's your demographic?
We've got it's a pretty even balance between the suburbs and the rural areas. And in the past, it has voted for it voted for Obama twice. It's voted for Senator Klobuchar, Senator Franken as well. We believe this district can be blue. We just need to bring the focus back to the working class and our needs. Bernie did so well in this district because people here want their needs put before Washington's special interests and millionaires.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you. We got like 5 minutes left to get out here. I'm going to give you a little bit of stump time. Just, we haven't hit all the subjects. I'd love to have you come back. Would you be willing to come back another time later on in the campaign and talk to us again?
That opportunity.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell everybody why we should vote for Jeff Erdmann. Just stump on it for a couple minutes.
Minnesotans are standing up across the state and they're saying we've had enough. We've had enough of the greed. We've had enough of the polarizing establishment politics. And we've had enough of the people working hard and not being able to get by. Billionaires are doing better than ever. And we're tired of that. It's time to turn the page, chapter. Not just here in Minnesota, but across the country. We are not here. We are not here to just accept things for the way they are. Form a more perfect union. We need to treat healthcare like the basic human right that it is and move towards Medicare for all. We need to ensure that a strong public education system continues to be the foundation for a prosperous America. And we need to build a strong economy, make a good living, take care of their families, and have a respectable retirement. It's supposed to be by the people, for the people, not the politicians and corporations. It's time for a working class voice in Washington to represent our interests. Teaching American government for 27 years to people from all walks of life, regardless of whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, then divides us. My entire professional career has been about lifting people up in the classroom and on the football field. And it's time that we lift each other up and make this country the place. I'm Jeff Erdmann. I'm running for Congress because I believe we can.
Boom. You got that down. Ooh, that was good. That was good. And the reason I wanted to get that in now and not ask you any other questions, because I did have other ones, but we'll get to those later. I want you to think about this one for next time. Are you familiar with the People's Platform?
Yes, I'm familiar with that. I've obviously got a little more learning to do on it a little bit.
Great. I want to ask you about that next time. See if you were elected, if you were in office now, if you would sign on to that. So that's your question for next time. I want to show everybody this slide right here because this is what they sent me about Jeff's closing song. It's a good song. I like this. It really fits. And this is just this is awesome. Here you go. Take a look at this. So I would like to they sent the email. I would like to change the song choice to Clear Eyes, Full Hearts, Can't Lose. And the quote is from the movie Power of One. Glory is achieved when the many come together to form that which is invincible. And this is from Jeff. It embodies what we want to do as a football program, where we all are on the same page, working together for a cause, a clarity of focus. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. I love this. So what does it mean to you personally, Jeff?
Well, in our program, part of why we offer sports for student athletes is for them to learn how to commit themselves to a cause greater than themselves, so that they can go out and be a great dad, a great employee, a great citizen. Football program, we emphasize team over individual interests. And because of that, because we emphasize the importance of each person and the value that they bring and the contribution that they make to our team, they raise to a different level. To raise their potential, and then that impacts our overall team performance. And that type of approach is definitely what we need for our country as well.
Nice. Agreed. Absolutely agree. Fantastic. Jeff Erdmann, thank you so much for coming on today and being with us, and for running for office. Really appreciate that.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity. We'd love to get more time coming back so people can hear more about our message and who we are and what we're going to do to change our country in a positive way.
Awesome. Awesome. And you've got one more thing I forgot to say. We always got to do the history. And I was talking to Jeff earlier in the show about Minnesota's original OG. This is the original 2nd District guy, Ignatius Donnelly. What you guys are going to not believe about this is that he was considered a radical Republican. That was actually a party. The radical Republicans were even more liberal than the Abraham Lincoln Republicans. Remember, this is back when the Republicans and Democrats were flipped. So when Jeff tells you that his district used to be blue, it used to be super blue because this guy was all over it. So we're looking forward to having Jeff come back and being a people's representative and taking over the 2nd District. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. We're going to go out, everybody, with this song. It is called Clear Eyes, Full Heart, Can't Lose by T. Powell. And we will see you next week. Laura Livengood, internet just dropped, everybody. Apologies. We're going out with a song, but the internet just totally tanked. Laura, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, we just had the internet crash, everybody. Sorry about that. Jeff, you don't have to stay for the song. Get out of here, buddy. Go do what you need to do. Thank you so much.
Be in touch. Be in touch. Be in touch.
All right.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Sorry, everybody. Technical issues. We'll go out with the song. Laura Livengood, who's next week?
Next week. Oh, on the spot. Hold on. Topher. No, wait.
Is it Topher?
God. Is it Topher? Yes, Topher Brennan running for Senate in California against Dianne Feinstein. He's a Silicon Valley fellow.
Ooh.
Grew up in the same neighborhood I did. So I am really interested to meet him. I haven't talked to him a whole lot, so this will be good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Getting out of here now. Now I really messed it up. Jeff did such a great job, and I messed it up. I got this over here, and it's over here. And thank you all for being here. We'll have him back, and we'll have more time with him. But seriously, he's like, look, I got to get back.
Quarters, and after that, most of you will never play this game again as long as you live. I want you to take a moment, and I want you to look each other in the eyes. I want you to put each other in your hearts forever, because forever is about to happen here in just a few minutes.
I got my fans in the stands, my team on my back, my family in my heart. I put my city on the map. See, I'm cool with my school, but I know I can do better. I checked the mail yesterday and not one college letter, not one college offer. After all this hard work, I'd be telling you a lie if I said it didn't hurt. So how do I stay focused in this game called life? And do I have a fair chance when this world's so shite? See, we all pay a price. I got some things on my mind, but I need to regain my focus, cause it's game time. Give all, leave nothing. In the end, I gotta choose. Clear eyes, full heart, I can't lose. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Clear eyes, clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Clear eyes. put your hand in mine. Forever's about to happen right here in this moment of time. So let's draw a line right here in the sand, and let me say that on this very day is the day that we took a stand. Cause not just a game, it's more than a game, it's more than the hurt, it's more than the pain, it's more than the glory, it's more than the fame. This right here is about legacy, man, so it's bigger than me, it's bigger than us. We can lose sight in the midst of the fuss, let's slow it down and take it in. Enjoy this moment, what's the rush? They wanted bad, but we wanted more. This is what we've been waiting for. With tears in our eyes, we let our hearts roar. Unleash war when we walk out this door. We won't be delayed, we won't be denied. In the end, we won't refuse with clear eyes, a full heart.